Thank you, William. Thanks a lot. You have chosen to become a musician. Could you tell us how did it happen and why, in your opinion?
Well, when I was a child, like 5 years old, my father would come home from work and he'd play records. And one record he particularly played was Duke Ellington Live at Newport, 1957. And he would play Diminuendo and Crescendo in blue. And we'd listen to, my brother and I would listen to Paul Gonsalves's 26 or 32 choruses and just play that and dance to it. And then on Saturdays, every day was music listening day. And we'd listen to Ellington and Count Basie and Ben Webster and Coleman Hawkins. And it was my father's dream for us to be musicians. And so he brought me home a trumpet, and I began playing the trumpet. And then I began playing the trombone, and then the cello, and then I went to the bass. But I really didn't understand this until I was like 16, 17. Then I began to get serious about music when I actually heard, listening to a lot more to John Coltrane and Albert Ayler's records. I found out that the reason for playing music was to heal people. And I said, that's the reason for music, so I want to be a musician because I think I could do that. So that's when I began to enter the field as a musician, but also the idea of shaman, someone who heals through sound.
Your first musical steps came up in a period in a scene that was quite alive and creative. Can you make any comparison to the current musical scene?
Well, the scene I came up in the 70s, we didn't have computers, we didn't have internet. So it was a little bit closer to the soil. The progenitors or originators of the music were still alive. You could go to a house or room and Louis Armstrong could walk into the room, and Archie Shepp, Cecil Taylor, Ben Webster, Coleman Hawkins, and they could all be in the same room, the whole generation, the history of the music. And there was energy in the air, there was the civil rights movement had just ended, so people were heavy into politics, and the music that we played or interested in playing was sort of like a backdrop to the civil rights movement, the music and poetry of Amiri Baraka, Milford Graves, and Bill Dixon, Ornette Coleman. So now all of these people are not here. A lot of people are gone. You have an age of a new generation who, using cell phones and computers and internet. So it's a different generation that now I would say we moved a little bit away from the soil and from the earth.
And being engaged in the research of a personal freedom of expression, do you think it's also possible to teach it, suggesting practices, experiences, disciplines?
Well, what you want to do is teach people that it's okay to be themselves, that there's no one way to play music, and if you like playing music or doing writing or dancing or dreaming, it's okay to dream, it's okay to follow your vision, and you empower people. The learning of these things comes through living. And so if you're just given the okay to be yourself and to follow your dream and follow your vision, that can be taught. But it's not so much teaching as it is, again, just making people be aware that they're okay. It's the only thing that can change the world, is music, is poetry, is visual art, is art, because in order to change the world, you have to change people's hearts. and then the heart. The mind is everyone's thinking all the time, but you shut the mind off and open up the heart, and that's how people change. It's something that you have to, change from inside, not from up here.
And at the end, who owns the music?
Well, the music has a life of its own. Nobody owns it.
Thank you, William. Thank you very much.